morning, little Budo. Good boy. There we go. Good boy.
Good morning, dear Dharma friends. I'm glad to be with you this morning. I'm glad you're here with me. We get another day. Another day to practice the Dharma and discover who we really are. I'm Robert Beatty. This is a broadcast of the Portland Insight Meditation Community. It is, I think it's the 5th of March. 4th of March. Almost missed a day there. The 4th of March, 2021. A poem. This is by a person named Paul Campbell. He was a regular person at PIMC for several years. It's called Meditation. It's very short. Between in-breath and out-breath and in-breath, the world ends. A squadron of thoughts, thinking themselves into existence, guard the entrance to eternal now, born of emptiness. Between in-breath and out-breath and in-breath, the world ends. A squadron of thoughts, thinking themselves into existence, guard the entrance to eternal now, born of emptiness. Hello, Budo. The guitar is such a fine teacher of impermanence. Sounds come into being. Sometimes they hang around a little while. It's a good thing they disappear, otherwise if the world was one big sustain pedal, all it would be is noise. Anicca. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sangaya, Namo Sangaya, Namo Sangaya. Another day. Of course, it's only in memory that we can say another day. It's just this moment. This moment as the sun comes up into pretty high cirrus clouds in the east. The stately Douglas firs beyond the house stand. The bedroom light is on as Jennifer gets ready to go to work. Here in my little house, it's nice and warm. My dog's on his special little Tempur-Pedic bed. The heart is beating, the breath is coming and going. The company is good. Company is excellent. And so we sit. I have a little factoid that I just remembered for some reason. Who knows what reason? Probably no reason. That the oldest known symbol of a person sitting cross-legged in meditation is about 4,000 years old. It was on a trading seal in Mohenjo-Daro, which is a very early civilization site in what is now Pakistan. So the image of a human being sitting in meditation was so normal back then it was used on a trading seal. An unusual event this morning. A large passenger plane just went overhead. It used to happen all the time. Whole bunch of people in an aluminum tube heading north. And here we sit. And what is true now? What do we really have right now? We have a body that's alive, tingling, vibrating, warm and cool. We have a proprioceptive sense that tells us uprightness, tells us where the hands are, where the feet are. We have the life of the hands, the life of the face. Each breath has its moment of beginning. Each thought has its moment of beginning. Each sound each memory, each plan, each emotion, each liking and disliking. There may be a predominant mood. It could be the mood that came out of sleep with you. There could be a sense of ease and confidence and anticipation, positive anticipation of the day. Or there could be sadness or confusion or depression even. The practice invites us to not ignore these background filters. There is often a sense of I am. I am this way or that way. And we are wise if we question that I am. If we were to say instead of I am lonely or fearful or whatever it is, and instead said there is loneliness, there is fearfulness, there is confusion or doubt. And coming home to the body that sits here, to the breath that comes and goes, we use the life of the body as a home base. The sensations in the body are really the slowest changing part of us, so we're not having to catch the flash of lightning of a thought or the subtlety of a liking or disliking sometimes. Instead, there's this large, significant material form which breathes in and out. Perhaps the mind is being visited by the five hindrances, by one or two or several. Is it wanting something? Wants something to be different? Something more pleasant, please, or this mood or feeling to not be present? Would it like life to be a certain way and not another way? Is it restless and agitated, jumping from one object to another, worrying, planning, determined to solve the problem? Or is it sleepy and dull? Or does it have skeptical doubt? Doubting if this even works, or if you can do it. Is the truth of impermanence shining brightly from your practice this morning? That could be frightening, it could be comforting. Coming home to now. To this breathing in. Or perhaps spreading awareness over the entirety of the body, or awakening to the whole body. It takes a lot of bravery to do Dharma practice. Because we encounter all those parts of ourselves that have been pushed aside. Some of them are brilliantly beautiful and loving and compassionate, and some are not. Some things we discover we've been projecting on other people so that we don't have to realize they're inside. There's a beautiful, lovely, loving man who we know as the Dalai Lama, who by his own insistence is really just an ordinary monk. He's just a person who has spent a lifetime developing his loving heart and consciousness. He said this: in generating compassion, you start by recognizing you do not want suffering, and you have a natural right to happiness. This can be verified or validated by your own experience. You then recognize that other people, just like yourself, also do not want to suffer and that they have a right to happiness themselves. So this becomes the basis of your beginning to generate compassion. Let us meditate on compassion today. Begin by visualizing a person whom you know is acutely suffering. Someone who is in pain or in a very unfortunate situation. For a minute or two, reflect on that individual's suffering in a sort of analytic way. Think about that intense suffering and the unfortunate state of that person's existence. So in a way it means to put aside our denial, our rejecting, and realize that it's true. Someone you know is really hurting and suffering. So we let it in. We don't have to fix it. But we can allow ourselves to know they really are suffering. And after thinking about that person suffering for a few moments, now try to relate that to yourself, thinking that that person has the same capacity for experiencing pain, joy, happiness, and suffering that I do. Then try to allow your natural response to arise. A natural feeling of compassion toward that person. Try to arrive at some sort of inner conclusion, thinking how strongly you wish for that person to be free from that suffering. Resolve that you'll help them if you can. The Buddha spoke of compassion as the sensitive heart's natural trembling when faced with suffering. And now including yourself. You too, no doubt, have some way or ways in which you suffer a lot. It's the human condition. Really let yourself in. Acknowledge the wanting, the longings of your life that are not being fulfilled and may never be. Acknowledge the pain in relationships in your life, because there always is. Acknowledge the loss of prior relationships, of beloveds. And holding yourself in sweet compassion. There's always that question of how fully we can allow ourselves to feel and know the truth of our lives, to acknowledge the beauty and the success, and to really acknowledge the loss, the insecurities, the challenges. Don't believe any stories about being unable to feel compassion. And don't look for something intense. It's just the willingness to be present. May I be free from suffering on the in-breath. On the out-breath, may this particular person be free from suffering. On the in-breath, may I live with ease and grace. And then on the out-breath, thinking of our little community here. Maybe one person, think of them. May they live with ease and grace. May today be a day in which they're surprised by how open-hearted they can be or how content they can feel. And please let's bring awareness into the buttocks, the pressure of the thighs against the chair. into the hands and fingers, into the face. And make that preparation that's required for the eyes to open. Feel the eyes as they are, as objects, as sensation. And let us now bring these eyes of compassion open. Seeing. It's such a gift to ourselves to allow compassion to exist. I have a thought rolling around in here. I've never met anyone, and I've met a lot of people in my life. Private practice in therapy for, as a social worker was more than 20 years. So really thousands of people. And then all my retreats. Before all that, I traveled really a lot for 5 years all over the planet. A lot of hitchhiking. And I've never met anybody who wasn't struggling with some part of their life. We can look in the media and on Facebook, and people, we pretend to have it all together, but scratch the surface a little bit, and there's the recent death of a parent, or I read a little piece this morning, I think from CNN. It was a little opinion piece of a father whose son died of suicide. And he was pleading, basically, that let's get rid of the word committed suicide. We don't say so-and-so committed cancer or committed car accident. And why would that young boy have taken his life? He was desperately unhappy. He ran out of options. Biochemistry, who knows? It was a very short little article. In 1979, I was in Pune in India. I went with my first wife with 25 Lewis and Clark students. Doug Pullen was with us. We spent 6 weeks in Pune, and then we traveled all over the country for 4 months or so, and then we came back for another 2 or 3 weeks. But Pune was where Rajneesh was holding court. And I was very impressed with him. But I just come out of a cult, and I was pretty sensitive to that. But the day that he lost me, they had very rough, very poorly run, actually, groups there where people got injured. They had broken arms and things, and broken hearts. But a woman took her life, a woman who was part of the community, after a group died of suicide. And he mocked her. And I felt the clarity come in that moment. It's like, this guy doesn't have it. He didn't ask them, did any of you know her? How are there more of you considering this? So there wasn't compassion. And so I invite us, let's really be kind with ourselves today. It'll be quite a mix. There'll be some pleasure, probably. There'll be some pain, probably. And we'll have all kinds of our responses to it. So that's what I wanted to say, I guess. Never really know. So I invite any sharing. I'm going to skip. The announcements are all the announcements. Please do visit portlandinsight.org and check out the other teachers, the workshops and things that are coming up. So, I invite you to share something if you'd like.
Robert, this is Davina. Good morning.
Hello, Davina. Haven't heard from you in a while. How are you?
No, I'm doing well. I really want to thank you for your words about getting away from the idea of committing suicide. March is the yard site or death anniversary of really my first boyfriend when I was in high school, who took his life when he was 16 years old. And I lost another friend to suicide when I was in college. And so it was tremendously liberating when somebody challenged the notion I had that there was something weak about committing suicide, even though I hate that word, that there was something, that there was a disease process that took their life. And that helped me so much get away from this notion that there was something that I could have done differently, or that they just somehow gave up. So it was very helpful to hear you affirm that. Thank you. And I also want to shep some nachas with the Sangha, which means share some joy, but it's a bittersweet joy in that I have been unemployed for 11 and a half months. And on Monday, I start a new job. And so I'm very excited, but I'm also sad because the job is located in Central Time, which means I'll be starting at 7 a.m. And so I won't have the opportunity to sit with the Sangha as often, and that makes me really sad. But I want to talk a little bit about how sitting in this time of unemployment for me has been an opportunity to try to disentangle work from identity, and it's like trying to rip a burr out of your sock. It's really sticky.
Oh, that's funny.
But it's just been such a gift and such a blessing to just be able to sit as a human being instead of a human doing. And so I'm really, I've had the opportunity over and over, thanks to sessions, to try to reset my sense of myself as an adult in the world, and try to disentangle my sense of adulthood from making money, from saving, from retirement, like all of those things that we're told make you an adult. I've had plenty of opportunities now to sit with what does it mean to be a person. So
Mm.
I just want to thank you, and I want to thank the Sangha, and I want to tell you that I'll be here as much as I can, given my new work schedule. So
Mm.
blessings.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad you found that work. I hope it's very nourishing and challenging and what you want to do.
I hope so too. Thank you.
Hello, Tim.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a little gratitude thing, I guess, I want to share. On Monday, Catherine shared a real heartfelt thing, and the discussion and the sharing was about grief and dealing with grief, and when we ended and pushed the little button, the little leave button, then I went and sat on the porch and looked at my phone for messages, and I got a message that an old friend had passed away. A guy that played music for 3 years and had just passed away, and it was a gut punch. I didn't know. I didn't even know he had been sick. And the process, then the next hour or the rest of that day, was made so much easier by the teaching and the sharing that we had that day. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. That means a lot.
Is someone speaking that I'm missing? No? Kate, no, I don't think there's sound. I don't think anyone's making sound.
I hear you. I'm not hearing anybody else, but I hear you.
I hear you.
Hey Robert, this is Kathy.
Hello, Kathy.
So I've been thinking about that poem and the idea of a a squadron of thoughts. And I thought, does that fit for me? Because, there's like murders of crows and there's giggles of geese and all that kind of thing. And I'm thinking, okay, what's the appropriate term for me for those thoughts that come up when I'm sitting?
Uh-huh.
And I thought, it's not really a squadron. And I used to think it was like a train. I'd get on the train and roll on it. And then I realized, most of my thoughts are like a pile of puppies. And I find them so engaging and they're fun. And then I wake up and I say, oh, okay, go back to the breath and that sort of thing. But, today, this morning, when you call us back into the body and the sensations and all that sort of stuff, it feels like I've got like, champagne running through my veins or something like that. It's just, it's pleasant and it's kind of fun. So, but I find that a distraction from sitting. So I was wondering if you could say something about that. Plus, I've been coming here for a couple of months now, and the sits are getting really short. And I just wanted to make that comment too.
Yeah, it gets so that 20 minutes or half an hour is not enough. And it's a healthy greed. It's a healthy desire. Yeah, because it's so pleasant. So I'm not sure if you were asking a question actually, or...
Yes, I was. I mean, about the pile of puppies thing. It's like, because I find it so engaging.
Uh-huh.
And I'm off and I'm not in the moment. I'm thinking about something fun that's going to happen or something fun that did happen. It's not that I don't feel grief and stuff. I have a lot of things that go on in my life, but I don't know. It just seems like my thoughts go to those kinds of things rather than aversions. I guess it's an attraction that I'm going towards because I find the thoughts attractive, and I can see how that would be a hindrance to sitting. I mean, it is a hindrance to sitting, but that's what I would like some insight.
It's a hindrance to insight. The 5 hindrances, and so you could observe the pleasant quality, which makes it attractive and therefore feeds that happening. You could reflect upon the danger of a mind which is prone to wandering even into pleasant things, because you never know what's coming around the corner. And you could just appreciate it as it is, and that the awakening happens even in the midst of those puppy piles.
Right.
And that's kind of a miracle, isn't it? So to notice when mindfulness comes, and then fully engage with the breathing, for instance, if that's your primary object.
So it's pretty much the same whether it's something that I'm trying to avoid or don't like or do like or whatever, but with the...
It's craving.
Yeah.
It's craving.
Okay. Gotcha.
And you're having the blessing, I guess, that your wandering minds are very pleasant.
Yeah. But I think it makes it almost harder to... If I have something that I'm struggling with, I kind of know what to do with that, but the pleasant things I just want to go towards.
Right. Well, and a lot of people... I've had a crash, but the sound is going. That's nice. So
The sound is still there.
let me finish. That's really interesting. Let me finish what I was going to say. I do my yoga until my symptoms get less, and then I'm much less prone to do my exercises. And the same is true for many of us with the meditation. That as long as things are, when things start going, when the pain that brought us to practice diminishes, then we lose interest. You still there?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
good.
just thinking, I don't know that that's true for me.
No?
Because I came here because I wanted to, because it was, I knew it would, it's something I was wanting to deepen in my life. And so I didn't come here out of pain. I just came out of here wanting to be more present and to be able to be more engaged and more compassionate and a more loving human being. That's something that I want for myself.
Well, how fortunate that is, huh?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I have things that I struggle with, but anyway, I don't know.
I'm not sure what else to say, but I'm glad you've joined us and that you're finding it useful.
Yes, thank you. I
Ca-
do.
Can you see me, or did I vanish?
Yeah, no, I can see
You
you.
can see me.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Why did you say you crashed? What told you?
My screen with all of your pictures on it is black. It's non-responsive at all. But it's fine. I can. And now when I click on Zoom, it shows that I would have to start a meeting again. I don't want to do that right now because I think it'll pop me out of our meeting. So I will just proceed as it is and imagine you. I won't mess with it. Anybody else have anything you'd like to share? Oh, Kathy, let me share another thing. Long time ago, I went on a retreat with Ajahn Amaro, and it was a different kind of retreat for me. I didn't have any Sturm und Drang. There wasn't old memories, and it was just kind of calm and easy and relaxing mostly. And I went to see him. Had an interview with him, and I was explaining my confusion, sort of, and he said, "So you're experiencing a lot of quiet mind, and not much upset, and you're wondering should you be doing something else, something different? Should you be trying harder?" And I said, "Yeah, that's kind of right." And then he said, How much are you suffering?" And I said, "Well, actually very little." And he said in response, "Well, what's wrong with that?" And so he told me just to enjoy what was happening, to just be there with the lack of Sturm und Drang and upsetness and so on, and to see that in your the pleasant thoughts, they too come and go. They have beginning and ending, and so we can learn from everything that's happening.
Yeah. It reminds me of that Robert Blake poem that says, "He who kisses the joy as it flies lives in eternity's sunrise."
Right.
Yeah.
He who binds to himself a joy doth the winged life destroy.
Yeah.
She who kisses the joy as it flies lives in eternity's sunrise.
Exactly.
William Blake.
William Blake, yeah. William Blake.
After his awakening. Yeah. I'm feeling a kinship. If you're here this morning, Janine, with the screen being not lit up, of how it might be to not be seeing in the way that I usually do. Well, is anyone sitting with something you'd like to share before we sign off this morning?
Good morning, it's Denise. Can you hear me?
Hello, Denise. I hear you loud and clear. I have a lovely image of you in my mind.
Good. I just wanted to share that today I was driving while in meditation because I had some work that I need to go do today in Florence. And I don't know, I was just really grateful to have the Sangha here with me, even in the car driving, and just that I'll be thinking of everyone today as I spread the seed of my endangered plant out on the beach. So.
Huh. You have seed from an endangered plant that you're taking to plant in a particular spot of the beach.
That's right. Yes, I am growing my literal garden. Yeah.
Huh.
And I'll be doing it mindfully this year.
Uh-huh. Wow, that's lovely. You're a force of nature.
Literally today.
Huh. Enjoy. Is the moon in the proper position for planting?
It is just right at half on its way to waxing, so arguably it could be just right. I don't know. Either way, the seeds need to get into the ground or into the sand.
Uh-huh.
Do their thing.
Well, enjoy. It's very touching.
I don't know. It's just each one is so important, and yeah, it's like there aren't that many of these out there. And
Huh.
I don't know.
Well, you have so little control, right?
Yeah, I'm literally going to walk out on the beach with bags of sand and just toss them to the wind.
Really?
Yeah. And let them all find the right place.
Wow. And many of them might find them. There's a biblical thing about this, the seed thrown on rocky soil and so on.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like we're all so lucky that we're the seeds that grew.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I love you all.
Have a nice time. A wonderful time. Thanks. It's going to make my day better knowing that you're doing that.
Good. Thank you all for being with me. I'm done. I'm muting myself now.
Okay. Thanks. Reminds me, it wasn't with seed, but it was with human cremains. When my dad died, he was a skier, and he wanted his cremains spread on the ski resort near Montreal, where I learned to ski. And my sister did take some there ultimately, but before that, I had the bulk of them. And there's a ridge that we see. If you look at Mount Hood from here, the skyline ridge on the right-hand side is the western boundary of the Mount Hood Meadows ski area. And so it was a very windy day, and I went out there. I was on the phone with my sister, and the wind was really howling and racing, and I got to reach into the bag, I don't know, there were 10 or 15 handfuls, and just take them and throw them in the air, and then it spread all over the ski area that day. And so whenever I go skiing, it's like visiting the place his cremains were spread. Giving them back to the world, I guess, huh? Any other...
You don't have video. I posted this in the chat. It's Matthew 13:20. As for what was sown on rocky ground, this is the one who hears the word and immediately receives with it joy.
Huh. Cool.
Wonders of Google.
Right. You're fast. Well, anything else? I hear a voice.
Jai.
Hi, Sky.
Jai.
Jai. Oh, hello, Jai. Hi.
Hi. I had mentioned a while back that I was dealing with a really complex and difficult situation that
Yeah.
it's kind of even gotten more difficult, and I've been just bouncing off the walls with it because I'm really at a place where I've got to make some decisions. But today, with the theme being compassion, I immediately chose myself because I was the one most in need of it. And it's given me just like that tiny bit of cushion between me and the walls that I'm bouncing off of right now.
Huh.
One thing affects another, and I've got to decide how to do this and that, and they're all like, it's really big for me, financially, and then in terms of security and where I live. And so today I leave the set with just a little more sense of a cushion, which is the compassion for myself in this difficult situation.
Huh. Well, may it persist.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, shall we sing our way out? Please unmute if you wish, and we'll sing together. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Happy trails today, dear friends.
Bye, everyone.
I'll look forward to connecting tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Blessings to our friends. Have a beautiful day.
Goodbye, friends on Facebook and YouTube.